As I mentioned then a few moments ago, we have talked a great deal in recent weeks about the fantastic range of opportunities available at University College Isle of Man. And the fact that these are available on our doorstep means that students from here don't always have to look further afield. But they certainly do have the chance to go further afield with internships, as we are going to find out now. We're joined by second year student Aaron Riding, first year Sophie van Hooven, and Gail Corrin, who's UCM's Higher Education Manager. And we'll start with you, Gail. For people who may not be familiar with the term, what exactly is an internship?
That's a really good question, because I think people interpret it slightly differently. For example, Max Radio have their own internship program. Essentially, it's about someone who has some perhaps qualifications, but hasn't necessarily got the practical experience. So an internship is an opportunity to base themselves in an organisation or a company and put that knowledge and what they're learning into practice, and for the experience of that placement to then inform the knowledge, the theory. So it's that balancing out of experiential and theoretical based learning, and it's a great way for people to develop what we now call employability skills, so that they're more ready to hit the workforce running at the end of their qualification in this context.
Yeah. And these sort of internships can be done anywhere, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our passions is that if you're going to study on Ireland, doesn't mean that your studies are restricted to the island. So all of our students have a chance to do some kind of off-island activity, whether it be a 6-week placement in their second year as in the UK or beyond, or in this example where we've had the support of International Centre for Technology in providing an opportunity for a 3-month internship over the summer period in South Africa. So what that international off-island opportunity looks like is quite varied. Our passion is getting those opportunities to be available and encouraging our students to take them, which is what Aaron and Sophie did this summer just gone.
And we're just going to talk to them in just a moment, but in order to get a place on an internship, what sort of process do you need to go through?
In this case, we normally negotiate it with whoever's hosting it. So, for example, we spent a bit of time with the International Centre for Technology saying, what is your vision for this internship? Because obviously the resort that these two went to, Pine Lake Marina Resort, had needs. So we kind of negotiate the criteria around who might be suitable, and then we just advertised it. And these guys went through an interview process and came out on top.
Which again is a great experience to go
exactly,
through, isn't it, in terms of employability? Well, Aaron, Sophie, lovely to have you with us this afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Just tell us what you're studying first of all. Sophie, what are you studying?
So I'm studying an events management and marketing degree.
Okay, and you, Aaron?
And I'm doing accounting and finance. Okay,
so this opportunity for the internship came up, Aaron. What made you think it was something that you wanted to go on?
I have the idea in my head that at some point in my life I would like to move away from the Isle of Man for a couple of years, somewhere hot. So being able to go to South Africa for 3 months is quite appealing. And doing the accounting degree, I'm probably going to try and qualify as an accountant. Then I'm going to be an accountant. So instead of just seeing that as one track, the internship offered me to see other things that are out there, such as the hospitality industry and events and marketing.
And what about you, Sophie? What was it that made you think it was something you wanted to do?
I've never really thought about getting into marketing or anything before. When I left school, it wasn't at all an option. So for me, it was really to get hands-on experience within the events industry and the marketing. So when I finish the degree, I can decide which industry is best for me. So that's kind of why I'm getting hands-on with all these internships and things, or as hands-on as I can be. So when I do get my degree, I know which area I want to go down.
And interestingly, Sophie, I mean, this applies to both of you actually, but you didn't go the sort of traditional route of going straight through school sort of year on year on year. You've actually been to South Africa before because you had time out, didn't you?
Yeah, so when I was in my last year at King Bill's, I'd got all my offers for university and I was set there, and then the opportunity to travel came up, so I grabbed it with both hands and went travelling for a year and a half, which was amazing, and I would 100% recommend anybody who wants to go travelling to go travelling. And then tried a couple of different industries that I thought I'd really enjoy. So I've worked with horses, I've actually worked in an accounting firm, and none of it really worked for me. So it was to take a step back and see where I would fit in, see how my personality would fit in within different industries, and hopefully events and marketing is a way to go for me.
And Aaron, you'd had, I think, was it 3 years in between taking time out as well? What did you learn in those 3 years, and how did you come to the decision of going to university after that?
I think I learned a lot about having to cope with adult life, having a full-time job, sustaining that, and I became a little bit frustrated with having a full-time job. So I thought I'd stop being an adult for a while, and I would go do a degree. And that can put me on the path to something better.
Does sound terribly appealing, that, really, doesn't it? So then tell us about South Africa. I mean, this isn't just an internship across. This is, it sounds like almost a paradise, Sophie. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was their winter though, so don't all get envision this fantastically hot place. It was still quite cold. But it was amazing to be able to go so far and be in such a different culture and experience different things that you just wouldn't be able to do within the UK or Europe. You know, being so far away really does... It's difficult as well because you are so far away from home. So you can't just jump on an aeroplane and come back for the weekend and see loved ones and whatever. So that as well made it... It's a challenge, but it's a fantastic challenge.
I was going to ask about that, but I suppose you'd had some experience of travelling and being away. But Aaron, how did you find that 3 months away from home?
It was definitely a new experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hadn't travelled outside of Europe before. So being on a 12-hour direct flight to Johannesburg, that's a learning curve. I'm not sure I want to do that again anytime soon. But with me seeing myself moving away at some point, spending the 3 months away, that was really good to see if I can cope away from home.
And what were you doing on a day-to-day basis then, Sophie?
So because I'm doing an events marketing and management degree, I was quite involved with the marketing side of things. So they're looking to redesign the website, so I helped with that. Social media wise as well, I did quite a lot of work with the social media side, which is amazing. And we actually worked within every department on the resort, so we got a good understanding of how the resort works as a whole, which was really, really good as well. So we kind of did everything in a way.
Now, I'm guessing not all of it was sort of like very, completely easy and not all sort of exciting and positive and fun. What were some of the sort of challenges and frustrations that you experienced when you were out there?
Culture differences, I think, definitely was one that I wouldn't say it wasn't a challenge, but it was something that we had to adapt to because we're moving into their culture. So that was very much a big thing to understand and to respect as well.
And Aaron, has it helped you make up your mind about what you want to do in the future?
Yeah, I'm still on the path to wanting to do accountancy. I'm not sure I'd want to move into hospitality.
It's just, Gail, listening, it's just been a real insight, and in actually quite a short amount of time, but experiencing that difference and that culture really has made a difference to just these two students.
Yeah, and it's interesting listening to Sophie and Aaron talk because sometimes these big experiences in life take a while to process and it's sort of a while to land in terms of what you get out of it and what the challenge is. But yeah, many years ago my trajectory was similar in terms of travelling, and I just think to understand other cultures, it doesn't mean it's not hard to do that. It doesn't mean to say it's all fantastic and amazing, but to challenge yourself to understand different ways of living, different ways of working, different ways of communicating, just improves your skills and your resilience so much. And I don't know if these two notice it, but everyone at UCM has noticed you are different because of it. Now you might not be able to articulate that, but there's a sort of there's a solidness, there's a quiet confidence. There's something has happened to you.
Kind of thrown in at the deep end, and then you turn up and you've got all these people, hundreds of people that work there, and these two university students have turned up, and no one really knows what to do.
Yeah, and you have to forge your role and your place and understand all those things. Incredibly demanding. I mean, it's often you get excited about the idea of South Africa, a Pine Lake resort, and all the water activities, and you get kind of swept up in that. But that's the stuff that really you learn from. Is that right? We're here now. There's 100 people expecting something of us.
Yeah. And they also raised that very important point, the fact that both of them had taken that time out, because you can go back to university or to university at any point in your life, can't you?
Absolutely. I mean, higher education is more flexible than ever in terms of the time that you start it, or the fact that you might want to do 2 years off it and exit and then return later. you know, you really have an opportunity to plan it in a way that suits you, suits your character, and suits the opportunities that come your way in life. And I can't emphasise that enough. And often in terms of studying on Ireland, arguably because you are got a solid base because you're at home, your capacity to take these opportunities might be greater because you're solid here. I mean, I think you've talked about that, Sophie, that, you know, studying on Ireland gives you that kind of support of your family and network.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's as great as it is to go to university. It's also great to do it here, because if you are still able to live at home, and then you don't have to worry about, you know, too much financial problems or anything, then, you know, you do have the stability and can focus. I would say maybe focus more on what you're doing than being caught up in a university kind of lifestyle.
Well, there is an opportunity, Gail, for people to find out more about the courses available at UCM. When is that happening?
Okay, I have to concentrate to listen to this. We've got a few things going on in the coming weeks. On Wednesday, the 21st of November, all the Year 13s through their heads of sixth form have been invited to come to an open day at the nunnery. So if you're a Year 13 student or a Year 13 student parent, carer listening to this, make sure you get yourself in touch with your head of sixth form, because that's planned on the Wednesday. But on Saturday, the 24th of November, at the nunnery between 10:30 and 2:30, it's just an open day. So anybody, people who have been out of education for 3 or 5 years, like Sophie and Aaron were, or in work wanting to think about what options they've got, that's at the nunnery, 10:30 to 2:30, 24th. If it's not just about higher education and our degree and postgraduate programmes, and you just want to know about UCM in general, we've then got an open evening on the 27th of November.
We'll be testing listeners on this,
I think so. It seemed a good idea at the time to put them all together, but you know, when you put on... No, it genuinely, this is the month to find out what the options are at UCM.
And just from your two's point of view, Sophie and Aaron, what would you say was the best thing about having done that time in South Africa, about the internship? Aaron, what was the best thing for you?
It's gained a lot of life experience, dealing with people in a different culture, travelling, you know, different types of work that I haven't done before. Just an all-round experience that builds you up.
And what about you, Sophie?
I'd say the same, to be honest. I think definitely life experience. Everything that we did out there has, like Gail said, shapes you as a person, and you can take that forward anywhere that you go. So definitely life experiences.
And just a few tidbits that you haven't shared. You went bungee jumping. You had monkeys steal all your jewellery. You had sharks were involved in something, were they?
Yeah, we had a lot of free times at weekends, and monkeys became our worst enemies. Every time there was a shop, the monkeys realised and stole all our food. So that got quite frustrating, actually, quite quickly. But yeah, no, we had loads of free times. We got to see a lot of the garden route and do some crazy things like bungee jumping and shark cage diving and things. So yeah, it was great.
Just a few things then. Just a few things to write home about. For the moment, Aaron, Sophie, Gail, thank you so much for being with us.